Hey guys, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to go into a deep dive on education and technical skills and give you some tips and tricks on how you want to tackle these sections. Okay? So for the education section, let's grab Kaylee's snippet real quick here. And you can see that she lists her degree from UC Davis, and it's also a certificate she got, as well as an experience in Barcelona. So let's go through what you want to include in your education area and what you don't want to include in your education area, okay? So the first thing is, you only want to list the college or university you graduated from. Okay, there are some exceptions to that, like if you saw with Kaylee's where she actually had a study abroad first semester. There's some value in showing that because it demonstrates that she got an international experience, might have increased her language skills. So if you did a foreign exchange program, then you want to include that university. But with the exception of that, you really don't want to list any other college that you did not graduate from, okay? Now, if you have multiple degrees, let's say you have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from two different schools, then you want to list both those as well, okay? Because you earn degrees, and they're a bachelor's degree or higher, and you want to list those from the universities you went to, okay? But if you have an AA, don't list it. It does not help you in any way, shape, or form. And for those who don't know what an AA is, if you go to community college first, you can earn what's called an associate in arts degree, which then you transfer to a four-year university, and then you earn a bachelor's degree there. The associate's degree gains you absolutely nothing. And I know this from personal experience because I have an associate's degree from a community college before I transferred to a four-year university and then later went on to a top 15 business school and got my MBA. But I very quickly learned to lose the associate's degree because it shows I went to community college and people just don't give you credit for that. In fact, they kind of detract from it. So list the bachelor's degree, do not list the AA degree on your resume, okay? You want to list your major and your graduation date. Make certain you do that, okay? And if your GPA is over 3.5, then go ahead and list your GPA. Otherwise, leave it off. It gains you absolutely nothing if it's less than 3.5. Just don't even bother putting it on your resume, okay? Now, in the technical skills section, here you can see Kaylee listed some software and some languages, and if I had to do Kaylee's over, I would be a lot more, I'd list a lot more stuff here than what we have. Okay, so to recap on what we want to list in technical skills and languages. First of all, things like whether you operated in a Mac or PC operating environment. It's something you take for granted, but if you, especially in the working world, most companies want to see PC experience because it's the computers that people run on. So if you have PC experience, if you understand how to use Microsoft, make certain you put that on there. I've made the mistake of assuming that with hires, and I've hired people who've never worked on a PC before. They've only worked on a Mac, and that is a learning curve for me as an employer that I have to teach them that. So list that. Also list your Mac experience if you have that as well, especially if you're in a creative field, because then in the creative field people use Macs a lot. But you want to list both. You want to err on the side of giving too much information around software and technical skills because you never know what's going to be attractive to an employer. Okay? If you're in marketing, for example, from a skills perspective, list your social media expertise, whether you're familiar with Facebook or Twitter or whatever else. People want to see those kinds of things on a resume, especially an older generation hiring a younger generation. If you're one of my younger clients here, you guys have skills that we don't have, and we want to see those on the resume. You want to make sure you list all software platforms, including Microsoft Office. Like you want to list if you worked in PowerPoint or Excel or in Access or in Microsoft Word. You want to list all of those. All those want to jump off the page. Even include list of common software products that you might not even realize you take for granted that you know how to do it, but that is valuable to employer. You want to list as many as you can on here, okay? Whether you take up a hobby and you're programming in WordPress, or you know how to use Adobe, or you know how to use video editing software, whatever it is, guys, list as many as you can here because that's what employers are looking for, okay? Do not underestimate your software experience. In fact, including below is a link of common software products. So we gave you a little tip here to help you in case you're forgetting stuff. There's a download at the bottom of this page that lists a whole bunch of different software products. So it'll help you, maybe a quick reminder of experience and skills you have that you may not be remembering. Okay? And then lastly, you want to list all your languages. Make sure you list all your languages, and then any other kind of technical skills, even beyond software. Maybe you're a really good photographer. Well, if you're going into a creative field, having photography skills might be very valuable. So think outside the box. Think of the skills you have that an employer might find desirable, and you want to make sure you list all of them here, because you never know what on the resume is going to grab their attention that might say, hey, that's pretty good. They've got that skill. We need that skill. Okay? That's it. I'll see you in the next lesson.